Alrighty, thank you everybody for coming out to this special event of Goonies. And we have special guests Mark Marshall and Sandy Gimpel, which you were the stunt stand-in for Carrie.
Stunt double, right.
Stunt double. Not just stand-in, you were stunt double. Yes. So anytime she was doing something exciting, it was you.
Yes, I got to do it. Every time she was doing something exciting, I got to do it. But she got to do it a couple of times also. She has to. But the waterfall coming down the water slide, that was me.
All right. So I was like trying to watch that specifically extra this time. I'm like, wait a minute, can I tell? No, I could not. Mark, what was your duties on this film?
Well, I had a dual role. I was Steven Spielberg's personal assistant during the shoot, and I doubled for Chunk.
You doubled for Chunk?
No, not really. I was actually much thinner back then. I had joined Amblin in 1984 and was assigned to Steven's office, and Steven directed second unit on the film. So not only did I go to Astoria on vacation, and then they put me to work, but then when we came back, I was with Steven every day on stage 15 and 16.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's nice. One thing that I always really love about doing events like this is being able to watch these classic videos, because we all rented them on VHS, or now that's old DVDs for the rest of you guys. And then to see it on the big screen where maybe it's been decades since we saw it on the big screen, and getting that chance, how was it like seeing everything in such detail on the big screen tonight?
Well, it's amazing because I haven't seen it in 10 years. I saw it at the 30th anniversary weekend up in Astoria with 12,000 other people. And it was...
So there was like a couple more people than tonight?
Yeah, just a few.
Okay.
But we screened it outdoors at Warren Field where Carrie did the Victory Pyramid because they were getting ready to tear it down and put in a hospital parking lot. So, but I, didn't notice the detail tonight. I saw so many things that I had never seen before or dialogue that I hadn't heard before. And it just added to the enjoyment. I mean, it was just like discovering it all over again.
There was definitely something when you see a movie on the big screen, there's more detail. And you can spot out more things than you can from your TV. But also, there's so much in-depth detail to this film. Yeah. Even just regular backgrounds were crammed full of tiny little bits that you don't normally see, but then on the big screen, you're like, what is that on that little side court? What is this? What is this? There's a lot more in discovery of watching it on the big screen.
Agreed. And, one of Donner's genius moves on this film, the director's moves, was to have the kids be real kids and have their dialogue overlap. And they were improvising a lot of things so that it sounded so real. But that was Dick Donner's watchword, was verisimilitude or truth. He wanted those kids to believe that they were actually on a quest for pirate treasure. And I think in the end they did believe it.
They were definitely hyper the entire time, that's for sure.
Yeah, and Sandy can attest to that.
Sandy, what were your thoughts about seeing Goonies on the big screen again? How long has that been for you? It's
been a while since I've seen it. I've watched it on television several times, but watching it on the big screen, it's totally different. You see things that you didn't see on television, and like I said, the water slide, jumping off the pirate ship, which I did also. There's the wishing well, which was not in there. We shot second unit on that, and when they're in the wishing well, Carrie gets attacked by leeches, and this scene was cut out. We spent the whole second unit 3 days trying to do it, and they used me. They didn't use Carrie. And they had me standing, so they were shooting me from my waist down. And I got to tell you, they come in and they go, okay, now we've got real leeches, they're homegrown, they're not gonna hurt you. I'm going, oh yeah, right. And Steven was actually directing the second unit. And so I'm looking like this, because I didn't want to see what they were doing on my bare legs. And they kept trying to put these leeches on my legs, and they kept falling off.
So the leeches didn't like you.
They didn't like me. I don't taste good. So, and Steven looked at me and he said, "You'd rather be rolling a car, wouldn't you?" And I went, "Any day." And then they finally brought in rubber leeches and put the rubber leeches down on my legs, and they shot it, and then we never used it.
Those rubber leeches, putting real leeches out of work there, people. That's just showbiz for you. Now, there was one scene that what I know was cut out beyond the wishing well, and that was the octopus. And the octopus just got cut out, but they do mention it in the very last bit where they're like, oh, and the octopus got me. And you think, what octopus? And that's because those scenes were cut out. Do you guys have any information on the infamous octopus scenes?
That was another thing that was cut out.
Well, unfortunately, the octopus just didn't look right. The Bermans didn't have a whole lot of time to get it ready. And so it was, I think Dick saw the dailies and said, it doesn't pass the test. So they went ahead and just cut it. And it was really slowing down the film too. I mean, it was just, he wanted to get them on the pirate ship and get to the end. Yeah, so but it is in the television version, I think. There is a version that has the octopus scene in it.
I have never seen an octopus version, so I'm very, very
It's probably
intrigued.
on the internet somewhere.
That darn internet. Yeah, it's got everything.
Yeah.
We're at an anniversary year for Goonies as well.
40th.
40th year.
40 years.
Wow.
So if you saw it in the theater, you're old. Like
You-
me.
I was gonna say, yeah, like if you need Advil every night, that's the reason. You're at that point.
Yep.
40th anniversary, and Goonies still holds up. It's still a strong movie.
Well, in fact, it's only grown in popularity and it's beloved now. And I think that's because, well, first of all, because of the timeless themes of love and friendship and sacrifice, but also that God, I'm losing my train of thought here. Kids who saw it in the theater in the 80s grew up, got married, had kids, and they were sharing it with their kids. And I think that's just going to keep going on through the generations. It's almost like a rite of passage.
It's definitely a fun film. And having watched it dozens and dozens and dozens of times, it's still fun.
It is.
The film is just fun. Everything's a little wild and goes really quickly, but you don't mind because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And that's really, after watching it again tonight, that's what I kind of drew from it. It's like, man, I love Goonies. It's just fun. You have a fun time.
Sandy can attest to this, but one of Donner's lines or his directing styles on the film was, cut 10 minutes out, go faster. And so I think that's why it just moves at a...
They are at a very quick pace to everything. There's not a slow beat in the film.
I agree.
No, and it's funny, after working on the movie for 3 months, on the pirate ship and in the tank at Warner Brothers and being wet half the time, I'm sitting in the back row here watching it, laughing again at it. It just seems like it's just totally entertaining. It's not like, it's giving you a message, but it's not at the same time. And it's fun. And we don't have movies like that anymore, I don't think, that are just plain fun that you can enjoy.
And you couldn't make this movie today.
You couldn't make this movie now.
Using the kids all the time?
Pardon?
I said with the using the kids all the time and overtime? And
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why Steven stepped in to direct second unit at Donner's request, because he looked at the schedule and said, there's no way with 7 kids, because they were all under 18 at the time. And so they had to be in school. They could be on the set for about 4 hours. They had to have an hour of recreation and lunch. And, they were in every scene. So it just made sense to bring a second unit director in. And they actually were, the kids would be on stage 16 on the pirate ship. Steven would need them on stage 15 in the wishing well. So they would have to get wet and shoot their scenes in the wishing well, and they'd have to dry off, change clothes, go back on the pirate ship. And they did that for weeks and weeks.
And get wet again. That's one thing, watching the film again and going, my God, they are just constantly getting in water. Like, it's water scene to water scene to water scene. I know it's Oregon, but man, that's a lot of water. And even going through the waterfall in the wishing well, he's just standing there in the water. I'm like, maybe I'm just so old now. I'd be like, how can I get around the water and not get wet? And these kids are just like, I'm just going to get wet again. This is my 8th time today. I'm going to jump in some water.
Well, and that was a Spielberg scene. So Steven, had the water falling down on the
It
kids.
looks great, but what kid would just stand there in cold water for that long?
It wasn't cold.
It wasn't cold.
No, it wasn't. You're right.
So
It
all the
was
water
warm.
was heated.
The water was heated, and we also, I think all of us had wetsuits on. I know what all the stunt doubles did, and I think all the actors did too. As much as a wetsuit could do, good it could do, because if you take a look at what Carrie's wearing, she's wearing a little short skirt and no sleeves, little short sleeves on the blouse. So guess what happened to the wetsuit? The neck got cut out, the sleeves got cut off, the legs got cut off. The boys did well because they had, long sleeves and they got to wear their full wetsuit. But the girls kind of didn't. So, but
Carrie
the
was
water
such a
was warm
sport.
enough.
She was a good sport. She really was. You
So
were too.
working with these kids at 40 years ago and watching their careers go through life, Key, for one point, Key basically stopped working, and now he's a superstar. Yeah. He did Everywhere, Everything at Once, and I worked with those directors on a photo shoot, and I hadn't watched the movie. And I'm like, did you see that? And I'm like, no, but you're paying me, so I will go buy it. And it was really great. But it's so great to see him be a leading man again, where he was comedic relief and disappeared for quite some time. Yes. But then Sean Astin has never stopped working since the Goonies.
No, and that was, and Goonies was Sean's first feature. He did a television movie with his mom when he was, I think, 9 or 10. But Goonies was his first feature film. And, he was truly the leader of the group. When he auditioned, I'll just tell the story quickly. Sean came to Amblin to audition for Dick Donner and Steven, and I was running camera in the conference room. And it was 5 o'clock, and he was there with his dad, John Astin, who was Gomez Addams. Yeah.
Gomez Addams from the Addams Family.
Yeah, and his mom is Patty Duke.
And I think he turned 94, 95 recently.
95.
95.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was 5 o'clock. Steven said, go out and get Sean, bring him back. So I went out to get him, and we're walking down the hallway at Amblin, heading toward the conference room, and Sean was shaking. And I said, you look a little nervous. And he said, yeah, I am. And I don't know why I said this, because I was trying to put him at ease. But I said, don't have anything to be nervous about. It's just the most powerful director in the world. And opened the door. And Sean went in and introduced himself 53 times and blew his audition. He kept messing up. It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. And I felt so bad. I thought I ruined his chances. But he had an offer when he got home.
All right. Well, I guess you didn't terrorize him completely to death on that.
Yeah. No, they were a great group of kids.
And of course, a young Josh Brolin that we all know as Thanos these days.
Yeah.
And he also did a skateboard movie that I really liked watching a lot.
What was?
He was in.
What was it called?
I just watched the other. Huh? Thrashin', yeah.
That's it.
He's the lead in Thrashin', and that's what I knew him from, was Thrashin', because I was like always watching skater films, and I'm like, man, that's living the life. You know, it's
Yeah.
just
And that was Josh's first film.
yeah.
Too. That was his introduction. Goonies was, and you know, Corey was the veteran.
Yeah.
Key had done Temple of Doom, and Martha was already doing films and stage. Carrie, I don't know if she'd done anything before that, but they were just, what an amazing group.
Now, one thing that we don't know much about the rest of us was the actor behind Sloth. Can you give us any words about him and his experience on set that you might have seen?
Did you have any experiences with John Matuzak?
Not really.
Oh, okay. John actually came into audition, got the part right away, and
Well, yeah, he's the size of a refrigerator.
oh yeah, he was a scary guy. In fact, I flew with he and his stunt double Randy Widener.
He needs a stunt double?
Oh yeah, and it's a good thing he did, because John, you know, he got roughed up a lot during his football career, and so Randy had to do the harder stuff, and but we were flying actually up together to Portland to be driven to Astoria, and John I don't even remember this, but John was evidently rude to me, and Randy had a talk with him, and when we landed, John apologized to me, and I thought that's takes character to you know, to say something like that, because he's scary looking, you know, but when he was in that sloth makeup, he was the gentlest thing. The kids climbed all over him. You know, he couldn't get his makeup wet. They had to redo it, so the kids splashed him all the time in the water, and he never got mad. He couldn't eat lunch, so he had to drink lunch through a straw, and Robert Davi and Joey Pantoliano would eat French fries in front of him and taunt him. So
Didn't they find out what taunting him does in the movie? Like, didn't you learn your lesson from that?
well, you know what? I don't think they were afraid of John because they were at each other's throats all the time. They had a professional and personal rivalry, Robert Davi and Joey Pantoliano. So, yeah, I don't think John was their problem.
Sandy, on top of doing stunts on this film, I just wanted to bring it up. You were in a lot of episodes of Star Trek.
Yes.
And you played several well-known monsters in Star Trek.
Yeah, they make me monsters a lot. I don't know why, but they do. I actually did the original Caged, which was the pilot with the Telosians, with the heads that talked, you know, through telepathy. And I got that job because I was doing Lost in Space, doubling Bill Mummy on the show. He was 11 years old. And it was another space show, so they came over and asked, you know, who do you have that's not allergic to this makeup that we can put all over her? And they said, oh, give me Sandy, she's fine. But we made it's so different today. We made the veins move by a tube going down your hand to an air bubble, and you'd push the air bubble while a guy off stage would read the dialogue. And today it's all done, you know, with special effects men and electronics and stuff like that. And after they did that and it didn't sell, and Lucille Ball bought the show back, and she paid for everything, they called me back, and I got to play the salt vampire in Mantrap, which was another show that you couldn't see out of the costume very well, but we seemed to make it work, except I kept hitting Shatner in the face. But all those stories are in my book.
I just had to bring that up for the Star Trek fan in me and hear it live on stage. So, Goonies 40th anniversary. We've got to watch the film. You've got to comment on some of your time behind it. But what is the lasting effect working on Goonies has had for you?
Wow, you know, when we did these, nobody would ever know what was going to happen. I mean, you go in and out, do a show, and walk away from it, and the fact that it's so iconic, and you know, I've been so blessed in this business, I can't even tell you. I've done Star Trek, which is, you know, iconic, Goonies, Airplane, Battlestar Galactica, the fembots on Bionic Woman. I look back on my career and I just thank God, because I don't know what else to say, because they're iconic shows and you never know it. You know, when I did them, you were working. That's all you thought about. You went in and did your job and you went home. And I look back at it and I'm amazed, seriously.
And we're keeping you up late tonight. Don't you have an early call tomorrow?
I have a 5 a.m. call tomorrow morning.
That's a trooper, the people.
On Naked Gun 9000 or whatever it is.
Mark, what about you?
I think for me, the lasting byproduct of this film was family. I know that, you know, people bond on a film if they're on location, but this really did, and Carrie and the other kids will back it up. We really were a family.
Yes.
You know, we had 7 kids on a set. We were on location in Astoria, Oregon, and everybody felt a parental responsibility for those kids. And when we got back, you know, normally on a set, you'll say, hey, yeah, we'll work with you again, look forward to seeing you, and you won't work with the same people. But we still keep in touch to this day. Sean was an executive producer on a documentary that my brother and I did. I see Jeff all the time when I'm here. Key. In fact, I was at Thanksgiving dinner with Jeff's family, and Key and his wife Echo were there, and he had just gotten the role in Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, wow.
So I'll be seeing Carrie and Corey and Robert Davi in June in Astoria for the 40th anniversary weekend, where they're expecting, I think, between 15 and 18,000 people.
No way they can compete with tonight. Not at all.
Yeah, no.
Well, we did it first. They're just copycats.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing to me is that I've doubled kids all my life, or up till now I've been doubling older ladies, but to see them grown up and be friends with them. Like, I'm friends with Carrie, I'm friends with Bill Mummy, who was 11 years old, but they're grown-up people, and you don't think about them as little kids, and our friendships really have stayed, which is really heartwarming and fun.
Yeah. If you really want to feel old, Jeff is 50 years old. Corey, Key, and Sean are 53 or 54.
Yeah, we're all the same age now.
Yeah, and Carrie's almost 60. I mean,
Let's not go there. We'll find out how old we really are.
Yeah, I just have to remind myself of that once in a while.
It's interesting watching these films and going, that's how old I was. Oh, my.
How do they get older and we stay the same?
Yeah. What would you like to tell people going into the industry with your guys' background on your positions? Would you give somebody just a little bit of advice?
I'm sorry.
What would you want to...
Advice for people getting in the industry.
Well, you know, there's a lot of places in our industry that I think a lot of people don't know about. You know, there's hair and makeup and wardrobe and stunts and acting and electricians and all kinds of people that the kids don't learn about in school today. They don't have any clue, really, how many people a movie, you know, employs. And
what's the difference between a grip and a best boy?
It's harder today to get in our industry than it ever was.
Yeah.
It's certainly not easy. It was a lot easier when I was growing up in the business. There was less people, and everybody's willing to help each other. But if you want to get in the business, I think it's persistence more than anything else. You have to be persistent and be willing to work a second job just in case you're not going to be working, because you're not going to work every day. And it's not like it used to be where they'd call you and say, oh, we need you tomorrow. I've been very blessed. I've worked my entire life doing stunts. I started in 1960, and like you said, I'm still working. I'm working tomorrow, which is unusual for someone my age. But I work out, you know, 4 days a week, and I try to keep myself as healthy as I can. And doing physical stuff, what I do, I try to stay physical, not working. But if you want to work in our business, it's not impossible. It's just a matter of knowing that there's going to be a lot of downtime and you need to have another income besides what we're doing.
That's great. Great advice. Absolutely. Mark?
I think the mainly, I agree with the persistence. In fact, my friend George Campbell says there's a fine line between persistence and stalking.
Oh, yeah.
And I tried to be persistent when I got my first job, and it paid off about 8 months later. You have to, first of all, you have to love what you do or what you want to do. You have to want it more than anything. This is nothing against people today, but young people seem to want to become a director right away or a producer right away. And maybe they have the talent for that. But the entry-level position is a production assistant. And a production assistant is the hardest working person on the set and never says no, and is always available, says, I'll get it done. So I think that if you can do those things, take the long hours, and smile at the end of the day, then you're meant to be there, and you'll make it.
One of the biggest directors in the business, James Cameron, was a PA on From Beyond the Stars.
That's right.
And he got recognition by spray painting the craft services styrofoam containers on the wall to make it look like a thing. And he's like, look, I just saved us $200. And they're like, okay, you're gonna work again. And he did. And it's from doing small stuff early on,
Yeah.
and just keep really going at that horse. So
Absolutely. Think outside the box, but it's important to never say no.
never say die.
Never say die. Absolutely.
You know, okay, I'll tell you a story I'm a stunt lady. Yes, I am. But I started out as a dancer and doing background work. And I worked up from my background work to doing stunts and listening to, what was going on. And after that, I started coordinating. And then after that, I did a show called Mrs. Columbo with Kate Mulgrew. And I got to direct second unit, and Universal bought me my director's card. So I have literally started at the bottom and worked my way all the way up to being a director.
That's great.
So it can be done.
There we go. Now, the question everybody here wants to know, I want to know, did you get any Goonies gold?
What?
Did you get any doubloons? Any of the rich stuff? No, nobody. Well, I'm sure some people did take some things, but
The cast has all said they have Goonies gold at home.
I think they have a few things, but Eric Nelson, who was our prop master, we had too much respect for him to try to sneak anything off. Now, do I regret it? Yes, absolutely. Today I would do it in a heartbeat. But that's I do know, and I can't say who it is, but I know someone who has one of the original maps.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, I know Sean lost his. His mom cleaned out the attic and threw it away.
Yeah, she cleaned his room, and I'd seen his room, believe me. But yeah, she threw it away, and that thing today would be worth probably $200,000.
Oh, jeez. You think you're mad when mom throws out, your toys or something, but what happens when she threw out the Goonies map? And I was like, well, it's just another little prop thing we have at the house.
And it's a good thing she was an Academy Award winner.
Yeah, it's hard to yell at her for that.
Well, it's like you have the call sheets.
I do
He's
have
got
some of the call sheets
and
from
I
the
never
day.
kept one of mine.
I was a pack rat. I saved everything.
Does anybody have any questions you want to get off? We got a couple minutes here. Does anybody have a Goonies question that you just been dying to ask?
Not dying, but
Okay, well, we're.
I'm just interested.
I can't.
Sandy, so I can yell, my voice travels. Sandy, when you were doing the sliding in the water coming out into the water part of it, did you do as well, the slide, the long parts? Because I know they have close-ups of Carrie.
Yeah, would you repeat? I can't.
Okay, no, I'll respond it. When you're doing the water slide part, were you also the one that got shot out?
Well, yeah, I knew she's.
Okay, we did a lot of stuff in separate cuts.
Yeah.
So she didn't come down the entire slide. The slide went probably, I mean, it was like an e-ticket at Disneyland. It went around the stage and a couple of times and then came, it came down. So we did a lot of separate cuts with, like Carrie, and all the actors, so that we could see their faces. And the cameraman would be going down backwards, with them. There was one take where we had a short take and they wanted to follow me down behind me. And what happens when someone's behind you, they get all the water and you start slowing down and he keeps going faster. And when we came off the edge, I got clunked in the head with the camera as we went underwater. But the main big shot, I did the whole thing all the way down with the cameras in front of us. But the one she did and the one that all the other actors did were cuts and pieces so we could establish them. And it's not like an actor can't do their stunts. You're going to find so many actors say, oh, I can do that. Yes, they can, but how many times? Stunts are never, ever done once. They're always done over and over again for some strange reason. Dialogue could be screwed up or they want a different camera angle or something. But it's not that they can't do their own stunts. It's just they can't do them over and over again without getting hurt.
When the camera hit you, was the camera okay?
The camera was fine.
Okay.
My head hurt, though.
That's all that matters. The camera was
It's
okay.
one of those big cameras.
Also tonight, we are shooting some documentary footage for the people that are revamping the Goonies house.
Yes. A couple named Bayman and Liz Zachary. Zachary? I call him Zachary. Anyway, they bought the Goonies house, and recently made an agreement with another company to essentially renovate the house, restore it to the way it was in 1984. So, and it will be open to fans who visit Astoria. So, if you go up in June or after, you'll be able to see the Goonies house the way it looked in 1984, down to the fabric on the couches. And unlike the attic, which was actually shot on stage 19 at Warner Brothers, the attic at the real house will look like it did in the movie.
That's going to be some heavy prop work to make sure you get that exact 1984 board game shoved under the couch cushion and that kind of thing.
Yeah, the potato chips on the floor, and of course the statue of David with the correct anatomical thing. Bayman and Liz are actually here tonight.
Are you guys here? Where are you? All right.
Hey, you guys.
There they are. So if you guys have got some questions about that upcoming documentary or the revision of the Goonies house, you can go ask them some questions. And for you guys, thank you so much for being part of this event tonight.
It was our pleasure.
Thank you so much.
How can people find you on the social media channels?
If you go to sandragimpel.com, you can go to my website. You can also go, I'm on Facebook, and my book is out there, and I've got pictures that I can sign for you. And the book has all the backstories, what goes on on the shows that I've worked on, and not only on Goonies, but on several other shows that I've been on.
Are you on Instagram too?
Sorry?
Are you on Instagram?
Yes, I'm on Instagram. I forgot about that one.
I couldn't afford a website, so but I'm on Facebook, and the book that I wrote, Goonies, Droids and Killer Whales, has its own Facebook page as well, and then I'm on Instagram too.
All right, I'm Scott Zillner. You can find me on all those social medias under Scott Zillner, and we also have the QR code there for Movie Busters, which we have an Instagram, a website, and of course, a Facebook page for that as well. We love doing these events at the Frida. Thank you so much for hosting us again tonight, and stay tuned for our next adventure here in film.
And thanks for sticking around.
Thank you guys
Thank you guys.
so much.